Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna, and join me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
It is actually going really well. 8 days left until Stardom Dream Queendom 2022. So I am hyped. Um,
Um, I don't know if Bill's that good in math anymore, but I'm pretty sure January 4th is not 8 days away. But Bill is showing
I'm
me right
now
now.
showing him my Oedo tie sweater that I'm
So he
currently
tied
sporting.
sweater.
So, yeah,
So yes, you're right. December 29th is that right? Yeah, December
that's
29th.
Dream Queendom. That's right. That's right. That's my Christmas.
Oh,
That's my
that's your
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully the matches are good. Hopefully
Yep.
they
They will
live
be.
up to
They,
your hype level, I should say.
I
Um
hope so. I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. And then we get our New Year's on January 4th.
exactly. The real start to the wrestling year, Wrestle Kingdom 17.
You got it.
Oh, it's gonna be something, that's for sure. That is for
That is
damn
true.
sure.
How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. I'm actually on vacation now, so I really can't complain about anything. I decided to brave Costco early this morning, like at 9 o'clock, with my sister, and couldn't believe how absolutely insane it was at 9 o'clock. Even like when we left, people were trying to find parking. So when we got there, like parking was available at the back, I guess. But as we were leaving, man, people were asking for buggies if we were going to be able to like give them our buggies because there's nothing. I was like, yeah, this is insane. I need to leave this area right now. So
Yeah, we did
yeah,
Costco last week.
smart.
So yeah, exactly. Because yeah, this week Costco, bad idea.
Yep. But besides that, yeah, no, holiday season kicking off. Speaking of, we have a show tonight.
Yes, we
Within
do.
the holiday.
The Holiday
Um,
Bash.
that's right. That's right.
Yes, coming to us from San Antonio, Texas, from the Freeman Coliseum. Speaking of Coliseums, did you hear the size of the arena they're playing in Winnipeg?
No, I did not. I did.
13,000 people.
13,000, eh?
Yeah, it has a
Interesting.
13,000 seat capacity. Yeah.
Interesting. I guess they figured, oh, like Kenny is gonna be in Winnipeg,
Hmm.
so they assumed they can fill it out, even though we could easily filled out Scotiabank Arena slash
Hmm.
ACC here in Toronto. But
Yep. Anyway, but the Freeman Coliseum is where AEW is at tonight as we get the
Mhm.
second straight Dynamite from Texas. And this really is, and we'll get into we've only got three matches announced for tonight's card. Three, because as we know, AEW stands for All Elite Talking.
Talking.
Yes. So, but we will start with a match. FTR is taking on the Guns tonight.
Okay. So I don't hate this probably as much as as you hate the Guns, right? So, I think they play their role as goofy, stupid heels perfectly. Like if you want a stupid heel team that you can beat on, you know what? I guess maybe they got it straight from their dad because maybe he's taught them that exact way to be like a unlikable heel. Um, I just don't know how this in any way progresses FTR in any way. Like I mean, they went from potentially having an all out everything on the line like match against the Young Bucks to losing to the Acclaimed, just losing to them
Hmm.
cleanly. They're losing their belts. They lost the Ring of Honor tag team belt recently.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna lose the IWGP belt as well, right? So I don't know what's happening really with FTR, and I love FTR. You know, Dax, I know he has a broken butt, like for real, but I don't know how that's gonna affect him. And really, should he be wrestling on
Yeah,
something
tell
like
me about
that?
it.
But yeah, my hype level is not the greatest, but I mean, like, I don't hate it as much as probably you do. I think the Guns are good. I think they play that role well. Um, And maybe this is just pushing FTR over as in like, hey, they're really big baby faces, but they already were kind of baby faces. I don't know. I just don't understand the booking, and that's what's confused me about this match. I just don't understand it.
Right. And I mean, this is one of those matches where I look at it and I go, I know who's winning. Is FTR really going to lose to
Yeah.
the Guns?
No.
No, they're not. So the near falls will be almost pointless because I'm not going to bite on them. Um,
I mean, Chris Jericho lost the match just recently
this
against
this is
someone,
not
right?
even remotely the same thing. This is I am going to give the guarantee that FTR is not losing this match
Not
tonight. And I
losing this
really
night.
don't think I'm going out on a limb to give that guarantee. So the Guns are okay. I mean, they're
Yeah.
fine. FTR, they're really good. But they're fighting a team that's fine with no hope of losing. My hype level for this match, eh, like I really
Yeah.
kind of don't care about this match. FTR has really kind of started to slide, right? I mean, they had
That's the
that great
thing.
match at Ring of
Yeah.
Honor, but they lost the belts. Then, I'm just waiting for them to lose the Triple A belts too, right? So I'm
Yeah,
sure that's coming
it's
anytime
eventual.
soon.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, they're going to lose the belts to Bishiman at Wrestle Kingdom. So, I can't see them losing to them at this point because, if FTR is serious about kind of moving into semi-retirement
Mhm. Mhm.
come April-ish, then yeah, they don't need all those titles anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like we're seeing the denouement of the year of FTR. So we're going to hear from Bryan Danielson because he's going to come to the ring and talk.
So we're also going to hear from someone else again, someone else tonight as well. So I was wondering if both promos are going to happen at the same time because Danielson came out last week to help. Well, not really help, to scare off MJF, I should say. Um, so I don't know if like Ricky Starks and Danielson are going to talk at the same time. I don't know. So anyway, so let's say Danielson's out by himself. He's coming out to talk. He's going to cut a promo on, I guess, MJF ending William Regal's run at AEW or career or whatever they want to make you believe. I don't know, but he's going to challenge MJF, I'm assuming, and I'm interested. I don't know what we're going to get here because I'm not really fully in. I'm just kind of like, okay, I guess this might be good. I always say give Danielson more time to speak. I'm getting that tonight, so I'm just very curious what's going to come out of this.
Yeah, I'm curious what he's going to say too, but that's just it. I have the same kind of curiosity too. I'm curious. I'm
Yeah,
not, oh my God, I can't wait to hear this. This is going to be amazing because you know why? It likely involves MJF. And
yep,
anything that touches MJF for me right now immediately loses 10 points
yeah,
because I'm like, I don't care. I'm just waiting for him to not have the championship anymore. And then, AEW will be back to normal because I don't want this kind of crap around my championship program.
yeah.
That
Fair
was
enough.
fine for mid card shenanigans. It's not cool as the headlining championship. It's fracking terrible
Yeah,
as the headlining championship. I really don't want Bryan Danielson mixed up in this. I want him to have good matches with
hmm
people I care about. But again, I get it. There's a lot of people out there who really are into this MJF title run, and that's fine. I am not everybody. I'm just one guy with one opinion, so it's cool. But that one opinion is I kind of don't care if he's going to talk about MJF. And I don't think he's going to appear at the same time as Ricky Starks because there's
no,
only 3 matches on this show right now. So they got to fill time, right?
yeah. That's true. That's very
Right. And
true.
then, you know what Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland are going to do? They're going to talk to each other.
Did I read that Rick
Oh, yeah.
Ross is going to be mediating this?
Yes, there's going to be, he's going to mediate their face to face talking.
Well, I mean, I love Swerve, so really, I'm just happy. I'm very curious to find out like what's coming out of this because it was the Keith Lee wasn't on Swerve's sneaky level, so he didn't want to cheat. He left. Then Swerve convinced him to be partners with him again. Then Swerve left. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like, so are you guys like enemies right now? Like what's happening? So I think hopefully we get some clarity on this, or we get we get Keith Lee as a bad guy, right? Like that's probably what's the best move here. But hey, I'm not the booker, right? So yeah, I'm hoping for a heel turn from Keith that he joins Swerve, but I don't know what we're gonna get out of this unless someone comes out and challenges them, unless the Acclaim come out and challenge them again, or
Yes.
unless something happens, right? I don't know where this is gonna go.
Right, right. So yeah, I I'm intrigued to find out what happens. I love
Mhm.
Swerve. Swerve is great. I like Keith Lee. Keith Lee's solid.
Yeah.
Um, a bad Keith Lee would be fine. I'd like to see them stay as a tag team. I think they're really good together. I have a feeling that's not what we're going to get. I have a feeling this is going to be the big breakup, that the mediation will fail and it's
Oh,
going to
okay.
be the big breakup, and that'll be the direction they're going to be feuding with each other for a while because they have nothing else for them to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't understand it, to be honest with you. I'm kind of like a little lost in the storyline because it was getting really good, and then they kind of like they've been a couple weeks where they just don't even show up, and I'm like, okay,
mhm,
so is this a thing?
yes.
But we can hope, fingers
Yep.
crossed, we can hope.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. And you know what's going to happen next? We're going to get some more talking because the man you mentioned earlier, Ricky Starks, is going to talk.
Yeah, he's gonna talk. I'm hoping it's good. Like Ricky, like, as we said, Ricky. Like I don't know what this is gonna be. Is this gonna be setting up a new feud with someone? Like I
Oh
don't
God,
even
I
know,
hope so.
right? Because I don't care for Ricky Starks versus MJF because Ricky, honestly, you're above that. Like you need to do something else. Um, but I just don't know who's there, right?
You realize what you just said?
Yeah,
He's above the champion of the entire
yeah,
company.
yeah. Because I told you I as I said earlier or before or podcast before, I
Yeah.
don't like the old school WWE type of heel runs. I
Mm-hmm.
find them absolutely boring and
Yeah.
meaningless. So yeah, like that type of run is below AEW altogether,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, I'm just not interested in if it's continuing that, I'm gonna be like, oh come on, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, let's not do this. But I'm hoping Ricky does something. Ricky, he needs to go after something meaningful, even though the belt is the top prize, but he needs to do something else. He really does need to do something else. And like, I don't know who is available right now, right? To do.
Samoa Joe.
But isn't Samoa Joe feuding with Wardlow?
Is he?
I don't
Is
know
he?
anymore. I don't know. But that would actually be a cool feud. So
Well,
yeah, no,
exactly.
I'm
You know who'd be a really great TNT champion? Ricky
Ricky Starks.
Starks.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. He
In
would like
fact,
he
I would care more about the TNT title at that point than I would about the actual world championship.
agreed. I can't disagree with you there.
Yeah, just like in a few weeks, the trios titles will become the greatest titles in AEW.
I
But we
can't
will
disagree.
get
I
to
will
that.
agree. Yeah, I'll agree with that one too.
Yes. Um, because before that, we then have to go through more talking, but talking with a video segment with the next chapter in the Book of Hobbs.
Okay, so the first chapter confused me, and I
Mhm.
was like, "What is happening?" So I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume the second one will also
Oh,
confuse
this is
me
the
as
third
well.
chapter. Did you miss the second chapter?
I must have missed the second
In
chapter
fact, it
then.
might even be the fourth. I'm getting confused now as to how many chapters there have been at this point.
You know
The
what?
first was at the pay-per-view. I know I
Okay,
saw one on like Rampage. Was it last week or the week before? There was another one. He's been doing a
okay,
bunch of these now. This is just
okay,
like the next chapter.
okay.
But they're
So
all
yeah,
very similar. So,
you know what? And you're totally right. It just says the next chapter. Okay. Again, I'll just be confused with this stuff. So I don't know where they're going with this. I really don't. Is it going to be a face turn? Like I'm so confused what's happening. Um,
there's a lot of him walking through the streets and talking about life
you
and
know,
going into like barbershops and stuff.
we made fun of Darby Allen for his
Hmm.
vignettes, right? Just
Yes.
because they're so random and like, but at least his has some type of like steady kind of it's linear, as in like we know
Hmm.
Darby Allen is going to do something, be trying to be doing something stupid in his videos and trying to get hurt or whatever.
Hmm.
That's normal. With the Will Hobbs one, I'm like, what is happening right now?
Right.
What's actually going on?
Right.
So yeah, I'm just confused with this entire thing. So
Well,
I'm
it would be great if he'd actually come out and say, read The Leviathan by Thomas Hobbes or something like that. And then we get the next chapter of the Book of Hobbes. And, probably be slightly more entertaining. But regardless, this is going to be a lot of talking.
agreed. Agreed.
And hey, I like good vignettes, but are these vignettes good?
No, they're
Hmm.
not, and that's the problem. They're not good. Like at least Darby's, you're like,
Yeah.
holy crap, Darby, what the hell are you doing, right?
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
can't even tell you what happened, and I've watched all of these like Hobbs vignettes, and I
yeah,
can't tell you there's nothing memorable sticking out other than he walks through the streets and they're in black and white, and he talks a lot about being tough. That's about it.
that's yeah, that's it, right? So
Speaking of tough, we actually have a match. The AEW Women's World Championship. Jamie Hayter is taking on Hikaru Shida.
this is gonna be a good match. Obviously these two are great wrestlers in general. Um, I don't obviously I don't think Hater's gonna lose. It's way too early for her to drop a belt in any way. Hikaru Shida is gonna put up a fight. I'm just curious because if Shida loses, do they continue the storyline with Shida, or is someone else going to challenge Shida? Right? Because I'm not little. I feel like they're thinking it's too early for the Brit Hater split.
Mm-hmm.
I think they think it's too early still. So I'm very like interested in what's going to happen next because we know Shida's going to lose tonight,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
But what's the outcome? Like, how does this progress the story going forward? Is what
Yeah,
I'm more concerned about.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And this is why I actually like this a lot more than the FTR match,
Mm-hmm.
because to me there's more story here. There's
Okay.
more intrigue because you know what I think is going to happen? This is what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Jamie's going to win, but Britt is going to interfere when she doesn't even need to
Mm-hmm.
help her win.
Okay.
And then that
Okay.
also gives Sheeta an out, like, oh, you needed your buddy to beat me. All right. And then this will keep happening. Britt will keep interfering in her matches. That will be the story. And it's to help her win. But
So she can't beat
Jamie's like,
herself.
I don't need your help.
Yeah.
See, I think that's how this might go. That would be a good way to like
Yeah.
slowly burn it. Because and that also gives Sheeta an out of, well, yeah, and besides that, let's face it, Jamie Hayter beating Hikaru Shida in my book is just fine.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think it hurts. I think that you're right. It doesn't, if you're going to have a continuing storyline, you'll need some way not to make it just a pure clean win.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, she can beat her and that's fine. And also, like, well, I mean, these are two of my favorite women in AEW and they're
Yeah.
going to have an extremely good match. I'm looking forward to this. And I think that's going to be the story. I think you're going to see Britt help her to win.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in that potentially happening. Like that might be
Right.
actually pretty good. Yeah. Okay.
And then we have the match that will stand out as okay, everyone attempt to beat this for match of the week. AEW World Trios Championship Best of Seven Series, match number 5, no DQ stipulation, Death Triangle versus the Elite with the Death Triangle up 3-1.
Yeah, this match is going as the main event. This is the last match. There's nothing else. Like you can't start this and then have other because then this Dynamite may fail. I'm very curious actually. If they put this match first and do the Shida and Hater match at the ending, I wouldn't be upset about that because I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here, AEW. It's pretty smart. But these are one of the things where, come on, no DQ. You want these guys to go all out, like you want this match at the end of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I mean, there's obviously 3 matches. This is definitely giving me the match of the night, like 100%.
Yep.
I'm just curious what Tony Khan may announce during the show, as in like just random matches that happen.
Yeah, we there's got to be some random matches
There
because
has
this
to
is
be.
all just like literally it's a show of all elite talking surrounded by 3 matches.
Yeah, yeah. So there has to be other things that like we've never had a show where there were 3 matches,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there has to be something else. And I'm hoping that whatever we get, it's at least good. But
Yes.
yeah, no, this is gonna blow everything else out of the water.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it, we all know the elite are winning because we're not going to just have 5 matches.
Four
So
4-1 victory for
yeah,
the for
exactly. The
the
elite
Death
were crushed
Triangle.
in 4 matches. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you can't use the hammer. You can go ahead and use the hammer. We'll just take that advantage away from you, and then they just lose anyway.
Oh, by the way, Bill,
Yep.
just so you know, I'm just quickly checking Twitter.
Yep.
1 hour ago, it was announced that Hook will
Mm-hmm.
be in action tonight at the Holiday Bash. So there's a 4th match. So just
Hook
FYI,
in action.
in action.
In action. I suspect this will involve the firm, and it will involve Jungle Boy.
Yep. Same.
Yep.
but
Um,
nothing in comparison to the last match we're gonna get
no,
tonight.
no, but that's at least something. I'm a little more
Yeah.
intrigued with the whole Hook Jungle Boy Firm stuff than I am with a lot of other stuff on this show. So
Mhm.
that's good. That's good. That'll keep my interest. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So yep, that's going to be our show tonight. Why don't we go watch this show tonight?
Let's go watch it. I'm ready. You know what? In holiday season, hopefully AEW is giving us a gift right now. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
And if they don't, there's always Dream Queendom on the 29th. I know.
Fine.
Let's go watch. And that was, in fact, AEW's Holiday Bash, which came
Yes, it
to us
was.
tonight. Hmm?
I said yes, it was. That was quite the show, I should say.
Indeed. Came to us tonight from San Antonio, Texas, from the Freeman Coliseum. We had Excalibur, Tony, and Taz on commentary all night. It opens with a recap of MJF and Ricky Starks and Danielson's intervention in said thing, and MJF is here tonight. Oh, okay, fine. Ricky Starks comes out. The sign of the night was shown in this. I don't know if you saw it. It had Orange Cassidy's picture on it, and it just said "Mary whatever."
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that one.
Sign of the night. Sign of the night. So Ricky Starks wore his ugly Christmas shirt to the ring and shoes with no socks. He had great fashion sense tonight. Gotta love it. That was sarcasm, people. He gets a mic and he says, "You know, it would be really nice to be standing here as AEW champion, but that's not how things turned out. I lost. That's on me. I should have known better. But I lost as a man. Maxwell won like a coward. At least I can stand here with respect and dignity. Max doesn't have any of that, including a pair of these." And he points to his shoes, right? That's what he meant by a pair of these. But I would like to point out, if I was this close to beating you, MJF, imagine what happens next time, because there will be a next time. It doesn't mean this is the end of the road. Look at me. This is just the start. And if I have to work my way back to a title shot, line him up so Stroke Daddy can knock him down, at the end of the day, I'm going to be the man around here because I'm absolute Ricky Starks. What did you think of his opening promo?
It was okay. It's Ricky Starks. He's becoming that baby face, right? I very again the more this promo progressed, I'm like the more I was like, yep, this guy just reminds me of a young Rock. That's all it is. It's just that's exactly, he has the charisma and everything like that. Though I mean he does have the cheap lines as well as the Rock did, but he sure has that charisma, right? And if only he's able to like tighten everything up, like because the wrestling is down, then he's way better than The Rock. So give him some time. I'm giving him some time because again, he's a young guy. So this did what it did for the fans. The fans absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. But
Yep.
I knew exactly what was happening here.
Do you remember way back, a few years back, WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
We had John Cena versus The Rock.
Yeah.
I was never a John Cena fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I cheer for John Cena in those matches?
Uh, just because you're annoyed at The Rock's shtick. I don't know.
Yes, that's exactly it. Because The Rock shtick annoys the living hell out of me. Ricky, please don't become The Rock. Please, please, please. Because I can't take it. Anyway, I know you all love The Rock. He's the greatest guy on the mic ever, right? So yeah, you guys will all love it if Ricky Starks becomes The Rock. But me, I'll throw if he ends up doing the Rock shtick most of the time, I'll be throwing him in a big pile along with the Acclaimed as shtick, not substance. I would like to see him have more substance, like he did in his promos leading up to the MJF stuff. This was
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more shtick, but anyway. Fortunately, Jericho's music hits, and out comes Sammy and Garcia with him. They recap Action Andretti's win. Did you see the little girl with her ears? Like she was plugging her ears while Jericho's song was playing. She looked so upset that this music was currently playing. She needs better parents. Hello, give her a music education. No little girl should be plugging her ears listening to Jericho's
Jericho.
theme. I'm just saying. Jericho says, Ricky, Ricky, I've been watching you for a long time, and I saw you last week. You came this close to winning the world championship. You're not a dollar store version of anybody. You're $1 million talent, and you would be a world champ someday, but you're not quite ready yet. And I don't want you to be a flash in the pan. And after talking things over with Danny and Sammy, my close personal confidants, we think you have everything it takes to be a big star here in AEW. All you need is a little influence, a little advice, a little Chris Jericho. A Sammy sucks chant breaks out. Listen, if you say Sammy sucks, then you say I suck and we don't suck. Look, we spoke it over, and Ricky Starks, we want you to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. And Ricky says, Oh, wow, the almighty Jericho gave me a compliment. My turn. Do you know what I like about you? How you know how to stay relevant and evolve. Just a few months ago, you were coming out here built like an air fryer. Now you're lean, mean, shredded, just dressed like a father on his fifth divorce. This was rich coming from him, like talking about Jericho's fashion when dude is out here in an ugly Christmas sweater, black and white shirt with no socks and those shoes. Anyway, well, the offer is tempting to join your little boy band. I'm going to say hell no. You think I want to be part of Club Vampire and have a leash around my neck? Last week you lost to Action Andretti. The J in JAS stands for jobbers. Here's the thing: those two little JAS holes you have, or jazz holes, you have not done anything. I have a question. Danny, what has Chris done for you? And Sammy, I couldn't care less about you. But hey, you're not going to suck the life out of me. But if you are looking for something to suck, guess what? I can understand if your appetite isn't big enough tonight. How about this? January 4th, new city, new AEW, Chris Jericho taking on me. And Jericho says, Wow, was that ever the wrong answer, Ricky? So Hager jumps him from behind. The JAS beats him down, but Action Andretti comes out to save him, hits a perfect split legged moonsault on Jericho. John Morrison needs to take notes. And that was the end of the segment.
Yeah, so this is the part where I was like, this is more rock that I saw, right, when he started insulting the JAS. But this is great. I'm happy that Jericho is really pushing these young guys. And why not? With Ricky coming out and saying that I'm going to start from the bottom if that's what it takes. I'm going to get back to the top. Why not have him beat Jericho? Right? Why not have him have a little feud with the JAS right now? That would just propel him like as one of the top baby faces they have. So yeah, I like this. I like to say it by Action Andretti. I was like, okay, they're pushing this kid now. I like that. I like that. But yeah, no, I know. I like the segment. So yes. But when Jericho came out, I applauded. And I'm like, you know what? This is a feud I want to see. So there we go.
Yes, as long as yeah, well, I've already talked about Ricky Starks' promo style. I was not a fan tonight. It was okay. He did what he needed to do, and I understand why people like this, but he's
Mhm.
going for that low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Because, dude, you're literally making crotch jokes
Yeah.
more than once.
Yep.
Are we going back to the Attitude Era? Is that how we're going to encourage people to watch a program? But anyway, please stop. Well, fortunately, then we had the Elite versus Death Triangle. So the Elite comes out. I see Kenny's tights, and I had to ask Krishna, was there any significance to these tights? Were these like a tie-in or something, or was it just Kenny wearing cool new like airbrush tights?
Yeah, I didn't personally see anything that caught me like, hey, right away that's something. It could be, something anime inspired, I should say. That would have caught me off guard. But yeah, I noticed the new tights, but I'm like, I didn't know where they were from. But yeah, no, I was, I was too much caught up with the entire match. That's why I really
Right.
wasn't paying attention. But yeah, no, I didn't see anything significant.
Okay. I had to ask because if anyone knows Kenny Omega's tights and outfits, it is Krishna Denai. So, and it's on. The lead immediately eat triple super kicks and get triple tope con heroes done to them. Brandon is dressed awesome in his Christmas garb. Shout out to Mr. Cutler. Nick Jackson is
Yeah.
still limping a little, sells the foot a little in this match. Early on, the entourages get involved, including Cutler hitting a move and trying to do the dab before Penta ejects him. I gave up taking notes in the early exchanges because they were too fast and lots happens. But then Penta introduces a garbage can and Omega gets it in the butt groin area off the top. We'll put it that way. And then Death Triangle began to dominate the early match. Nick has a great comeback versus Pac and Fenix until he eats a Penta sling blade on the outside. Death Triangle sets tables up on the outside. Penta goes to the stage and gets a tree. And man, it was Penta versus this tree for a little while. First, it was nailed down to the stage and he had to try to rip it out of the stage. Then it was still plugged in, so he had to pull the plug out. And when he did this, the middle part of the tree where it fits into each other, both pieces fell apart. So he gets the tree. The crowd's a little ornery. He gets the tree back in the ring, puts it together. The crowd goes nuts because he has the tree back together. They were all very happy about this tree. He sets it up in the corner. The Elite all get whipped into the tree. Nick then makes a comeback, high cross body, super kicks until he hits a chair with his ankle. Pac wraps it up in the chair, but Kenny saves him. Then Kenny, shortly after, hits a picture perfect moonsault onto Pac while holding a trash can. That looked crazy.
Yep.
He then gets a barbed wire broom. And okay, I totally marked when he brought out the barbed wire broom. I'm like, oh my God, it's his barbed wire broom. And he nails Fenix twice, then puts him face first into the barbed wire. Kenny then sweeps the ring as Bucks and set up Pac and Penta on the tables. There's an elbow drop senton combination by the Bucks through both of the tables with them. And then Kenny lands a Tiger Driver 98 with Ray onto the broom that's stuck to Kenny. But Ray kicks out of the pin. So I thought that was it. I bid on that pinfall. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. This was a really big lead up. But nope, they set Ray up for the BTE trigger. It gets interrupted. Ray goes for a cover, but gets a huge V trigger. I mean, that was like, wow. Almost as good as Tam Nakano's Violet Violet shoot. I'm kidding, Krishna. This was better. Ray reverses the one-winged angel into a roll-up, though, for a huge near fall. Of course, we knew he wasn't pinning Kenny. So Ray hits Omega with the hammer, but it's only a 2 count because, again, we knew Ray wasn't pinning Kenny.
Yeah.
Pac locks him up in the brutalizer, wrapping this tinsel wire around Omega's face. But we knew he wasn't going to submit. Matt breaks it up. All of the Death Triangle have hammers, but Pac and Penta get pulled out, and Omega snap. I mean, this Snapdragon was awesome. He Snapdragons Fenix. There's a top rope Meltzer driver then by the Bucks with Ray onto a chair, and they pin Ray. I mean, that top rope Meltzer driver just looked vicious.
Yep.
And they get the 3 count. Then Death Triangle beats the living hell out of the Elite after the match. Blood, like there was no blood really much in the match at all. It was after the match when they just smashed the heck out of them.
Yeah, no, this was a great match. Obviously, like I'm still giving this my match of the night. There was another great match on this show as well, but like this is still my match of the night. It's absolutely insane. I actually bet a couple times. I was like, wow, are they really gonna let Death Triangle go 4-1 on because when they pulled those hammers and they were like knocking Kenny out twice, I was like, okay, this is what the hell, right? What's going on right now? It shocked me a bit. The Nick Jackson storyline still, his ankles still a bit damaged. Kenny just running wild like that. Come on, my God, when he pulled out the barbed wire on the broom, and then he lands on it and it's stuck to his butt still. I was like, are you kidding me, dude? Like the Guitar Crusher that he does to Ray, like Ray Phoenix sells so well. Oh my God, this guy can sell. Right. And some of the moves, like I think it was Nick who went, or Matt, who tried to do a clothesline or a roundhouse to Ray at the beginning of the match. And Ray dodges it and just in one like single motion flips back up. And I was like, how the hell did you do that, man? This is insane. So yeah, these guys, again, all these guys, I did like the beatdown because the next week is the next match is next week, like the match number 6. And yeah, it's gonna be nuts. I cannot wait. Like, so this is the I guess the no holds barred match. The next match is the
Falls count anywhere,
and the last match is the table match or ladder match. Sorry. Yeah, this match was absolutely nuts. Like these guys, I don't know what to expect anymore with these guys, because yeah, at the beginning I was like, okay, well, I've seen this, but then when all the weapons started getting introduced and they started doing these crazy things, I'm like, okay, these guys are friggin' nuts. They're absolutely nuts. So yeah, no, I had such a good time with this match. It was so much fun. The beatdown, I'm kind of curious how that plays out going into next week. But yeah, this is awesome.
It was a good match. I enjoyed it. Not my match of the night,
Oh, I
but
wonder
it
why. I wonder why.
but it's a good match. I think my problem with it was you're right. Nick was selling the story early on, and then you might as well forget it. The foot was completely fine for the rest of the match. He just stopped selling it completely. That bothers me. If you're gonna start selling it at the beginning, sell it for the match. If you're not going to sell it at the beginning, that's fine. You're feeling better from last week. We can forget about it. That was the story last week. You tweaked it. You're good now. There's only 2 moments in this match where that ankle made any difference whatsoever. That bugs me. Okay. I know it's a minor thing, but it bugs me because I know these guys are better than that.
Yeah. Fair
Right.
enough. I mean,
This
I
was
think he sold it more than that. I actually saw him selling. I mean, even at the last move, he was like limping up the top. I was like, okay, he's selling it. And there were some
a
other
little
spots
bit.
where he was actually selling it as well. But I mean, like he was still pulling off every move that he wanted to pull
Yeah,
off,
well,
right?
that's my point,
Yeah.
right? Everything was pulled off. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll talk later about a guy who sold in the ring when he couldn't even pick the dude up for the pile driver, right?
Yeah.
So, there's ways to sell and there's ways not to. Simply limping on the ankle when it's not doing anything is not quite good enough.
Yeah.
Like demonstrate why it's a problem. If this is going to be a story ongoing in this tournament where Nick's ankle is a
Ankle.
problem, then Nick's ankle needs to be a problem,
Yeah.
right? It can't be Nick's ankle looks like a problem when he's not actually wrestling, but the second he does something, it's no longer a problem. This is old timey buck selling, not new style buck selling,
Yeah.
right? This is the way they used to sell, and everyone nailed them for it. It was like, oh, I'm hurt, but no, I'm not really hurt, but I'm hurt, but I got to hit my spots. Right? It's like, okay, your spots aren't the important part of the match. The story is. Spots are
Yeah.
important. But that was kind of my problem. Like, look, don't get me wrong. I loved this match. Great match, but it was the weakest of the four for me.
This match was the weakest of the four?
Oh heck yeah,
Okay.
easily.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
easily. Or weakest. What are we up to? Is fifth? Was this the fifth
Oh, I mean,
match?
sorry. I mean, weakest of the five of the last. This is the
The
fifth, right?
five of the best of
Yeah,
five
yeah. No,
series
no,
so
no,
far.
no. I agree. It's not.
Yeah,
It
it was
wasn't.
the
It wasn't the
weakest of
best.
the
Yeah,
five. Yeah,
yeah.
because
Agreed.
for me this was kind of like it really was a spot fest. And
Yeah.
I know. Look, I know you unabashedly, spots over stories. I'm stories over spots.
Spot
So
fest.
it was totally a spot fest. It was a good spot fest. I had a lot of fun. But it's the kind of thing that by the end of the year, like, when I'm sitting down thinking about like solid matches, I'm not going to remember this match,
Yeah. Yeah. This
right?
one
The only
is
thing I'm going to
won't.
remember is Kenny with the broom,
Yep.
right? I mean, think back to the Bucks and Ray and Penta in the steel cage.
Steel cage. Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
remember the story. You remember the emotion when the Lucha Brothers win the title. You remember like even the shoe spot and things like that. Right? Like you remember,
Mm-hmm.
right? This match, I'm not sure there's anything in it we're necessarily going to remember. Like,
Remember.
we'll remember the first match in the series because they used the hammer, cheated, and
Yeah.
won, and Ray was pissed, right? I mean, the story started there. But this one, but I guess when you're doing 7 matches, not all of them can be
Yep.
amazing. So,
Yep.
but
Agreed.
I am
Agreed.
going to take a moment out now and talk about our friend Kenny Omega.
Okay.
So, no DQ match tonight.
Mhm.
Falls Count Anywhere match next week. He then flies to Japan for a match against Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. He then immediately flies back to do a ladder match the following week. Think about that schedule for a second. The dude is wrestling those matches 4 weeks in a row. No DQ, Falls
Yeah.
Count Anywhere, ladder match, and a match at Wrestle Kingdom that is not going to be 5 minutes long
No.
against Will Ospreay. That it has
Yep.
to be one of the best matches of his career.
Yep.
So, yeah.
He loves wrestling. That's it.
Yes. So all props to the god of wrestling himself, Kenny
He loves
Omega. That
it.
is a hell of a schedule.
It is. It's a lot.
So yes, really good match. Second best match on the show tonight, easily, but not quite match of the
Not
night.
quite there.
But you
Fair
are
enough.
giving it match of the night.
I'm giving it match. As I said, just these guys, right? Like I think you're right. I mean, some of the selling wasn't there, but I think just some of the spots, because again, I'm all about the spot fest, right? They
So
hit so
basically,
well.
the Bucks could wrestle a broomstick and they would get match of the night.
Hey, Kenny wrestled a blow up doll, and I thought it was a fantastic match. He wrestled like a what 10-year-old girl or something like that, and
It
he
was
sold
9.
that to 9-year-old. Sorry, 9-year-old
Yes.
girl.
Yes.
He sold that. So this guy is just amazing. Like they're just that damn good. These guys.
Yep. You know who's not that damn good? MJF. We get
Oh,
footage after the match last week from MJF, and he says, Bryan Danielson, you gutless coward. That was my moment, my first defense. And you attack me from behind? You're a gutless coward. You're a nobody. I beat Starks clean in the middle of the ring. That was my moment. But you had to stick your worthless hipster nose into it, you worthless scumbag. Everybody wants to ride my wave in this company, eat off my plate. But when it comes to my reign of terror, Danielson, you will eat less than you desire and more than you deserve. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Like this the entire thing. I was like, first of all, they said MJF is here. Did they
Yes.
mean MJF is here in video form? Is that
They
what they
meant
meant?
that he is his yeah, MJF
His
is
video's here.
here if we want to talk about pixeled representations of MJF filmed last week.
This episode had a lot of. This episode was very messy. Like just
Mhm.
to just start off with, the entire episode was very messy. So yeah, this started it for me. I was kind of like, I go, okay, so they're showing a video that I don't care about because it made no
Mhm.
sense. So is MJF going to then show up during Danielson's stuff tonight? Maybe that, but but
Yeah.
but no, it didn't make any sense. So again, this entire thing did not make sense to me.
And my God, was tonight's episode like all elite talking.
Oh yeah,
Holy
oh
crap,
yeah.
was there a lot of talking on this episode of AEW? It's like, what the actual heck? So we go from this, and I'm just gonna say it. This promo sucked.
It
It
does.
was just
Yeah,
basically him screaming for a little while, and then he makes no sense at the end of it.
agreed.
So
Agreed.
MJF, way to go, man. Oh yeah, you're the gutless coward. I beat him clean. Okay, whatever. So we go to Action Andretti in the back with Tony. So that's much better. I'd rather listen to Action Andretti than MJF. Tony, like you said, Tony says, last week here on Dynamite, I did the unthinkable, the impossible. I defeated the Ocho, Chris Jericho, in the middle of the ring. My life hasn't been the same since. I've been getting an overwhelming amount of support and love from the AEW fans. Oh my God, dude. Talk about like babyface 101.
Dude,
I knew the
100%.
JAS wouldn't let some rookie get away with it, though. They had to take their anger out on someone, and they did it to Starks, but I had its back. And then he's interrupted by 2.0, and they're like, you're on a hot streak. Some might even say you're on fire. And he turns around and he gets fireballed in the face. And
Yeah.
that was the segment.
And that was like basically, yeah. I said when I first saw Andretti back on Dark, and I'd said, this guy, we need to keep an eye on him. I had said before he left, he cut like a mini promo, and I'm like, you know what, this guy was pretty good on the mic. Like this is a guy who he's better than Jungle Boy, he's better than Darby, and it's not that it's what he's saying, it's his delivery that's really good, right? He's passionate, and he shows that he's really excited about the stuff. It's not like left on it's not monotone, it's not like flats or anything like that. So even this mini babyface promo, to me, I'm like, good on you, man, because you know what, you actually are better than a lot of the younger guys on the mic right now. So
Right.
good on you, and you're awesome in the ring. This was funny. This was a funny follow-up to just to just Jericho, because I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what is Jericho going to do to this guy now, right? So the fireball, hey, that made sense,
We
right?
all
So
forgot he's a wizard.
everyone forgot he's a wizard. I didn't. The
Nope.
minute I saw the fireball, I'm like, oh, that's right.
That's
He's
right.
got
He's a
powers.
wizard.
He's a wizard.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I like this spot.
Well,
Honestly, Chris Jericho, yeah, he's the man. Like, come on, like this is so awesome. He's helping these guys out.
Yep. No, it's true. And you know who Action Andretti reminded me of, though?
Who?
Like, just he felt like a 1980s like WWE style babyface promo. Like, and you're right, it's good. It's full of energy. He's energetic on the mic. I'm not saying it was bad. It
Yeah,
just reminded me of that style of
yeah,
babyface. Like if you
yeah,
got like Tito Santana on the mic or someone like that, right? They're
yeah.
cutting a promo, Coco Beware. It's like I just felt that kind of energy coming from him, like just like really like white
Energy.
bread babyface
Yeah,
promo, right? Darby Allin, I think, has a slightly different style
he
of
does.
promo. I don't necessarily think he's bad. It's just his style doesn't always work,
Yeah,
right? It can be very flat, and Jack Perry's getting better.
he's getting better. He's getting
Yes,
there.
yes, and we'll talk more about Jack Perry later on. But Renee is in the ring, and she introduces Bryan Danielson and his terrible music. He should really just stick with the, Flight of the Valkyries actual version. Just let the classical music keep playing. That would be much better. Danielson, I would like to point out, Jeans, sweater, dressed much better than Ricky Starks.
Bill, you're just not stylish anymore. That's the problem. Like that's the way
No
kids are dressing
socks
these
and
days.
shoes. When did that become a thing?
That became a thing a while back. I mean, hey, I don't understand it, but I'm not stylish, right? So I don't understand. But
Right.
apparently, like think about it. He's dressing like The Rock dressed. Remember how The Rock used to dress? He's wearing like those very um like loud shirts, and I mean, he never. I don't think The Rock wore no socks. Then again, I don't even know, right? But he's dressing like a very rock-ish, right? But look at him and look at Ethan Page. Very, very similar way of dressing. So to me, it's just this is how young people are dressing these days. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Maybe this is why I appreciate Bryan Danielson's outfit more
Maybe,
because he's a little
maybe.
older. I can
Exactly.
relate to it a
Exactly.
little better. We're both vegetarians,
There you
so
go.
yeah, I'm just like, hey, cool. You're dressing properly. Jeans, sweater. I can appreciate that. Anyway, Renee says, this is the first time we've heard from you since Regal was attacked by MJF. Where does this leave the Blackpool Combat Club? And Danielson says, I didn't expect the Blackpool Combat Club to forgive Regal. He's done some very bad things. But I first trained to wrestle right here in San Antonio, Texas. Cheap pop. My very first match was 15 minutes up the road at Far West Rodeo. Cheap pop. I did horrible country line dancing. No pop. I was first trained by Rudy Boy Gonzalez and Shawn Michaels. HBK chant. But the man who turned me into the wrestler that I am today is William Regal. Crickets. He turned me into the person I am today. I understand that Mox, Claudio, and Wheeler don't have the same relationship, but when Regal was in the hospital, I thought I would never see him again. I cried. He made my life better, my wrestling better, everything better. You know how much Regal has meant to the entire industry? So then he gets to come here. And I loved having William Regal in AEW. And one thing Regal taught me is there are consequences to your actions. One thing MJF needs to learn is there are consequences to your actions. Max, don't think for a second I haven't been listening to every single word you said. There are consequences when you hospitalize someone who I love more than anyone in the world except my family. There are consequences to those actions. You call me a coward? MJF, get your ass out here right now. I'll stop there to wait, see what you thought of this particular promo before we get to the
It
post promo.
it was, it was very Bryan Danielson-esque or Daniel Bryan-esque, or any way you want to swing it. You're right. There were some crickets there. Like I kind of think the intelligent AEW fan base is kind of over the William Regal thing now. Because
Mm-hmm.
when he said William Regal, they're kind of like, okay, like next. And we're gonna talk about a segment later on that actually was totally flat. But like, I mean, this was just your generic, I'm going to hype myself up, but I'm going to say that, hey, bad guy, you're gonna get what's coming to you kind of promo, right? So there was really no direct shots at MJF, except your actions have consequences. Get your ass out here. Let's fight. You knew MJF wasn't like okay. So maybe I didn't know MJF wasn't there because again, I was led to believe MJF was going to be there, right?
Mm.
By what they said like on the show.
Yeah,
Um,
MJF is here tonight.
yeah, and so I assumed when he called him out, he was going to show up,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get to that part in a second. But the promo itself, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great at the same time, right? It's kind of
Yep.
like this could have been a backstage promo.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really need to be in the ring, right?
No.
So
Well, I
yeah,
mean, it had to be because they needed to set some stuff up. But
yes, yeah.
yeah, I think part of the problem is too, San Antonio is just not one of the loudest crowds. I mean,
Mm.
most wrestling events that go in San Antonio, you've really got to do something to get them to cheer, like mention, some line dancing or the fact that you wrestled there or talk about HBK.
HBK, yeah, yeah,
You do those things, San Antonio will cheer. Other than that, you've got to put on like a match of the night to get them to cheer.
yeah. Fair enough.
So Ethan Page comes out in response to his call out of
MJF,
MJF.
yeah.
Renee bails out of the ring immediately because Ethan Page is offensive. Ethan says, and he comes out with Stokely Hathaway. Ethan goes, Stoke, let me get this right. Ethan Page makes it to the finals of the Eliminator tournament and the Battle Royal. Danielson didn't do that. If I'd been facing MJF, I'd be standing here with the world title. But for some odd reason, Vegetable Man here thinks he gets to jump the line. Stoke goes crazy. Danielson should go home and be some California hippie. Danielson says, I'm confused and can't concentrate. The glare coming off your head is distracting, and the crowd politely telling you to shut up. I couldn't hear you. I like the fact he said they were politely telling you to
Yeah.
shut up. Yes. did you just insult me by calling me Vegetable Man? And Stokely goes, you raggedy bitch.
I laughed though when he said
Yes,
that.
so did I. That was great. Paige goes, I want to make something very clear, Bryan. I didn't call you Vegetable Man because of your way of life. Listen, Bryan, I called you Vegetable Man because I think you were jumping ahead of Ethan Page. If you think you are jumping it, sorry, I called you Vegetable Man because if you think you are jumping ahead of Ethan Page, I will turn you into a vegetable. And Danielson says, I think he just threatened me. If you want to turn me into a vegetable, how about right now? And Paige says, I thought about it. I'll be honest with you. I have no problem taking off my top, but my pants are staying on. So I say we do it next week. And Antonio sucks. So I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I mean, again, Stokely just made me laugh in this promo because just by his reaction, it made me
Yes.
laugh. Ethan Page, I like this. I like these older guys, older guys, not that old, going up against and trying to push these younger guys, right? Because I was just Ethan Page is good, but he's not like a Bryan Danielson good, right? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe a match with Bryan Danielson will help him like go forward. Um, yeah, again, I didn't love this promo in any way, but I love what
Mm-hmm.
it set up for next week. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
It's good, not
Yeah,
great, just good. I was entertained, but not overwhelmingly entertained. I think that's a good way to put it. It was better than Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks
that's
did
true.
not
That's true.
entertain me. So then we go to Mox in the back, and there's going to be a $300,000 trios holiday
So
battle royale on
stupid.
Rampage.
So dumb. I'm sorry, Tony. These are the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
Exactly. This sounds like something that I would expect to have on like, like the Moneyball
And
match on
Stardom,
like,
yeah.
like Stardom and
Oh
Showcase or
God.
something like that. But no, no, we're actually getting a Stardom and Showcase style match on
On
Rampage.
Rampage. So
Cool.
dumb.
So Mock says the $300,000 Trios Holiday Battle Royale. That sounds like a good time. I wouldn't want to miss that. I guess you know where I'll be. Again, Cowboy Hangman Page. We can keep going as long as you want. When are we going to settle this in the ring? Then again, what is there to settle? You got knocked out. How did you see it playing out any differently? I'm tired of the somber tones, the accident that wasn't supposed to happen. What did you think I was trying to do with that clothesline? Comb his hair? It ain't my problem that you have a glass jaw. It just makes me good at my job. Don't be one of those play wrestlers, Hangman. You're better than that. I have a match with Darius tonight. All I hear is he's injury prone, but we're teachers, so I'll have to teach him a hard lesson tonight.
Man, Mox is so awesome. Like this was so good. He's just pushing Hangman to the limit now, and I love they bring it in, and like he even like made fun of Hangman in terms of like he didn't call out exactly. When Hangman talked about his son, he didn't specifically say it. He
Mm-hmm.
sort of alluded to it in general, which I thought was
Mm-hmm.
classy by Mox, right?
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like, what did you think was gonna happen when you stepped into the ring with me? What did
Mm-hmm.
you think I was gonna do?
Yeah.
Right? He's like, of course I was trying to knock your head off. Of course you got knocked out. There's nothing to settle. You got knocked out. I'm like, Mox, you are 100% right.
Yeah.
You are 100% right.
I
And I
already
was like,
killed you once, dude. What do
yeah,
you want?
what do you want? And he's like, I'm not the bad guy here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the bad guy. I did what I was sent out there to do, right? So
Yep.
I'm very excited to see what happens between these two because we're gonna eventually get a match
Mm-hmm.
shortly. So yeah, the Hangman versus Mox. I'm there for it.
Oh
What
yeah.
an awesome match that's gonna be.
Yeah, 100%. No, this was a great promo. I
Mhm.
loved this promo. I mean, man, Mox is so good. My favorite line was, "What'd you think I was trying to do with that clothesline? Comb his
Comb his
hair."
hair.
Good point. So
So good.
yes, it was great. I loved it. This may have been my favorite promo of the night. So
Yeah, it was good.
coming pretty close was the next one. Samoa Joe.
Mhm.
He's wishing us all a happy holiday because he's the TV champ. So he's taking some time out to wish us all a happy holiday, right? He wishes Wardlow a happy holiday because he won't have a happy new year. Come December 28th, he's going to give him what he asked for, and then he will take from him. Wardlow, have a happy holiday season. But come December 28th, all the holiday cheer ends.
Yeah. Um, you know, I love the fact that Joe is sitting there. It looks, I guess it was his home. What they were trying to say. his hair is all combed. He's in a suit. He's basically giving his like his Christmas state of dress. Like he's the greatest television or TV champion in general. I love this. I don't want Joe to lose his belt ever. Like I think he's so good. Like this promo is so awesome. Calling people out. I this was fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you're right. The setting was awesome. Him just sitting there is like Christmas holiday stuff, right? Like you're right, his hair all combed. He looks so friendly. And then he's like, but I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. I love Samoa Joe. Second favorite promo on the show. Then we have Hook taking on Exodus Prime. Hook basically ruins him. There's a
Yeah.
really nice high angle suplex. Red drum, it's over. Exodus Prime had literally zero offense.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. And it was a squash match just to
Yeah.
set up the next segment.
Yes, and Hook looked great. I mean,
Mhm.
like the guy can wrestle like crazy. It's just he needs some more story, and they seem to be working on that.
Mhm.
So we get Stokely on the screen again, one of the busiest guys in wrestling in this show, and then we see Lee and Bill beating up Jack. I mean, doesn't that just sound like you're in a bar fight in some like small town? Lee and Bill
Yep.
are beating up Jack
Beating up
out
Jack.
back by a dumpster. Yeah, anyway. So Lee and Bill beat up Jack Perry. They throw him into a dumpster for Jungle Boy. And then Stokely dumps some chips out on the floor. And Hook walks to the back slowly. Because why would he rescue Jungle Boy by charging in the back to try to help him when he can just stroll casually up the ramp?
That's what confused me as well. Is like, why didn't he run to the back? Because even after that, when Mox's music hits, Hook's not even left yet. He's still walking out. Right. So I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, fine. Great. The story is continuing. But if you're helping him, and I guess he's your pseudo tag team partner right now,
Mm-hmm.
you I would, hopefully you'd run out to help him, but I guess not. That's not how what Hook does. He doesn't run, he walks.
Yes, he just walks casually. Doesn't matter what's going on, casual walking. He needs to escape a
Mm,
fire. He is strolling out of that house at his own pace. Okay.
sure.
Yep. So Mox's music does hit. You were right. His music hits. And I'm assuming you then went to commercial.
We did because it took the entire commercial break for him to get to the ring.
You are absolutely correct because as you know on my feed, I do not get the commercials. I got to watch Mox spend the entire commercial break getting to the ring. Apparently, Claudio does not have William Regal's skills in directing Mox
Yeah,
to the ring.
fair enough. Fair enough.
And then he gets to the ring, and we get to hear Wild Thing continuously. So, yeah, it took like the whole thing, all Wild Thing, all the time. So we come back, Darius comes out. So Mox starts this match with attitude. This is your story, really. Mox is like, this is a kid.
Mhm,
This
mhm.
kid really doesn't like, let's see what he's made of. I'm going to try to teach him. And he starts with attitude, kicks, slaps, stands up to his shoulder, which just fires Darius up. Darius manages to drop kick Mox out of the ring, but Mox gets back in and tosses him out, throws him into the railing, takes him onto the concrete and suplexes him on the bloody concrete, slams him into the rail again, tosses him into the ring. But Darius actually comes flying out with a tope out of
Mhm.
nowhere. He goes to the top, but then Mox drills him to the floor with a forearm. Mox just waits and holds the rope. I loved that. It was just such a message to him like, come on, kid, you got to do better than this. Darius rolls in ahead of the countout. Mox twists his leg, stomps his elbow, does the top rope back rake, the best move in professional wrestling, before a superplex, hammer and anvil elbows. But Darius actually gets up. There's a
Mhm.
forearm and chop exchange. Mox then kicks out his kneecap, the one with the brace, but Darius kicks out of Mox's knees. Top Pele kick for two, begins a comeback. Manages to actually nail a flatliner on him for two, so he's getting a bit of offense. Mox rolls through a top rope crossbody, though, and then kicks his head in with brutal stomps, hammer and anvil elbows, bulldog choke. Darius manages to fight to his feet again, but then Mox just hits him with the Death Rider for three. It was a pretty decisive win. It was really Mox beating down Darius for most of the match, but Darius had his spots.
Yeah, yeah, and then Mox said it right at the beginning, like, we're the teachers here, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
teach these kids, and this to me was just a veteran showing this young buck, no pun intended, the ways of the ring, right? Darius, yeah, mounted some offense, but not enough to take out Mox. Mox
Mm-hmm.
like laid into him, like he was stiff arming him as much as he could. But Mox sold a lot for this kid as well, right? So it was really good. I'm just curious. I wonder if Dante is a little bit injured from the pay-per-view, right? Because he's been sporadically wrestling, but not as much as Darius. So you
Mhm.
know, or it could just be they're trying to get Darius's legs underneath him because he
Mhm.
has been away for a very long time,
That's very
right?
true. Yeah,
Right.
no.
So I thought this was great. I thought this is the matches you need to have. You need to have the vets versus the kids to kind of promote the kids a bit,
Mhm.
and make them shine. So and they kept mentioning, how is this gonna affect the trios because it is AR Fox and Top Flight as a trios that's gonna
Yep.
be wrestling on Friday. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, no, I like this match a lot. I thought it was a good statement match. I really expected Hangman to run out for some reason, but
Mhm.
I like this match.
Yeah. No, I really like this match a lot
Yeah.
too. I loved the story in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, story guy.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Like just Mox playing the like, the vet just kind of going, come on,
Yep.
bring it. What
Let's
do you
do
got?
this.
Come on, slaps him to fire him up, like holds the ropes open for him. I
Mm-hmm.
loved all those spots so much. It was just Mox being a complete cocky vet with him and just showing the kid, you got a lot to learn still.
Yeah.
Nice try, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a good match for that reason. We could see some Hayter and Shida promos building up the main event, and then we get the Book of Hobbs segment. As after we go through this weird lull, I think,
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit in this thing building up to the main event. But anyway, Book of Hobbs. My first memory is my uncle overdosing, choking on his own blood. As a child, I was beaten, robbed, stabbed, and shot. What kind of people would do this to a child? Monsters. What they don't know is they created a monster themselves. Now it's time to spill everyone else's blood and turn to the next chapter of the Book of Hobbs.
A little bit more information on what they're doing here. Obviously, they're building Hobbs to be a monster, which is great.
Mhm.
I just hope they deliver with that. Like, listen, Hobbs is huge, right? He's absolutely
Mhm.
massive. So if you bring him back, and let's say he goes up against Wardlow, you want him to actually demolish him. Like you
Right.
want him to just run through people, because then if you don't, then you've built nothing. You
Right.
basically stated what you're gonna do, but actually didn't deliver. So I'm hoping for good things with this one. I really am hoping for good things because you can push Hobbs to the moon here. Whether or not they do a good job of it, I don't know. But again, it's one of these vignettes where I'm like, okay, sure, Hobbs, I kind of get what you're saying. Good. They're like yes, you terrible. If this is all true, you've lived a terrible childhood,
Yep.
and I love the monster that you're going to become, and that's going to be awesome, right?
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I'm just waiting to see what they're going to do with him.
Right. And you see, you hit the nail on the head when you say, if that was the childhood you have. So
Mhm,
I heard this and I'm like, I wonder, is this the childhood that Hobbs actually had? Because, a lot
mhm,
of like you look at Darby Allin, the dude is like
mhm.
a legit daredevil, right? So when
Yeah,
he's cutting promos about not caring about killing himself, he
mhm,
pretty much means it,
yeah,
right? Like we know it's real. Kenny Omega talks about wrestling. We know it's real.
yep.
Eddie Kingston thinks wrestling is
It's
real.
real.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, these are their characters. Jon Moxley is Jon Moxley.
yeah.
It's these guys are their characters. So I'm like, Hobbs, did you really grow up in this environment? I can safely say I'm still not sure. But what I
Mhm,
did discover is that he is from East Palo Alto in California. So I'm
mhm.
like, I wonder what that is. So I look it up, and here's what it says. This is a little blurb about East Palo Alto offers residents an urban suburban mixed feel, and most residents rent their homes. In East Palo Alto, there are a lot of coffee shops and parks. Many families live in East Palo Alto, and residents tend to be liberal. The public schools are highly rated.
What
I'm
the
like,
heck?
this doesn't sound like a tough neighborhood. I
No,
mean, I could be,
does
look,
not.
I know nothing about most towns in California, so I could be
Yeah,
completely and utterly wrong. But just from that blurb, I'm like, really?
doesn't
So
sound that
I've got to
tough.
look into this further. I need to find out if, in fact, Hobbs did grow up in the neighborhood he's claiming he did. We need to know. You know what I didn't need to know?
What's that?
That the guns were going to wrestle. So it's FTR versus the guns. And FTR is still hurting from Ring of Honor Final Battle. And they sold this, astonishingly, for the whole match.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes.
They did.
I'm just pointing out they sold it for the whole match. So anyway, Cash opens up pretty early with a double atomic drop to Colton. And by double, I mean one after the other, then an atomic drop and a Manhattan drop to Austin. He repeatedly throws Colton into Austin in the corner. FTR clears the ring. They brawl around the outside. Excalibur notes that Dax is fighting like an 8-year-old girl, meaning he's bringing it. I like that callback to his comment about his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Colton finally comes back with a drop kick in the ring to Cash, and they take over. There's a long chin lock spot for the second half of what I think was the commercial break at that point. Cash gets the hot tag, and Dax goes nuts. And when he goes for the sharpshooter on Austin, Colton pulls him to the floor. Colton sets him up for a pile driver on the floor, but Cash hits him with a tope. Then Austin throws him throat first into the barricade and drops Dax on his butt on the stairs, rolls him back in the ring, and then he starts setting up for the sweet chin music, and this crowd would have none of that. They were booing, and then he does the suck it and locks the sharpshooter on him
Yep.
instead. Cash breaks it up, tosses Colton to the outside, but misses the dive and eats the rail. Dax tries to lift Austin into a pile driver. His hip and back give out. He continues to sell his injuries. O'Connor roll for two. Then Austin reverses Dax's follow up. Colton assists him with the pin just out of sight of the ref, but you see Aubrey after the match was kind of looking going, wait a second, what just happened? But anyway, they actually pin FTR for 3, and Excalibur notes FTR is on a losing streak now.
Yeah, they've lost 3 straights actually. Acclaimed, Briscoes, and now the Guns. I like this match. I didn't hate this match. I actually like this match because I said the Guns, they play their role as they would. Like they're the sleazy bad guys, and they play it up. FDR, they're great. I was kind of shocked by the pin. I was kind of like, like FTR, what the heck is going on? You've gone from top guys to losing against mid card guys. Like what is happening here? Like if maybe there's a plan to have FDR push like younger tag teams, okay, but this is not helping them in any way, right? I mean, hey, we have to remember that the Bucks once lost to what's it called? Cassidy and Isaiah Cassidy and
Private
Mark
Party.
Quinn, right? Yeah, they lost against them. So it happens.
Yep.
But with the recent record of FTR, it's very confusing to me. I don't understand it. So are they going to lose another match come January 4th? Like, is that what's going to happen? Like, I'm so confused right now, right? So
right.
yeah, I didn't hate this match, but I was really confused about what's happening next with this.
I think that Excalibur's comment tells you what's happening. They're telling a story around FTR losing matches. Right. And what does that mean for them and stuff? They've been tough matches, right? And the match against FTR, I mean, the match against the Guns, they only lost it because of cheating.
Cheating, yeah.
Right. So it doesn't that doesn't hurt them that much. They lost because of cheating. Okay, that's fine. But there is a story going on now where they're in a streak of bad luck, right? And that's okay. I mean, that's not a bad story to tell. We'll see what they do with it. It depends on how they now follow up with that story or not. And I think it is going to lead to them losing the titles on January 4th as well to Bishamon. We'll see what happens. I liked this match a lot. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought that it was hard hitting, right? I mean, there was a bit of a slow spot during the commercial break. I don't there's ways to wrestle in the commercial break and there's ways not to. And come on, guys, long rest holds in the middle. I'd rather not, right? Like I'm still watching it, guys. Come on. So anyway, but those hits into the rail and stuff, like some of the moves that came out of nowhere from the Guns, like the Guns can wrestle, and I'll give them that. So I actually enjoyed this match a fair amount. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had a good time. So yeah. Then we get Sanjay Dutt, and he is rapping to the Acclaimed's music. I am not going to recap all of his lyrics, but basically he said they will get the tag titles and the Acclaimed will never scissor again, and Lethal and Jarrett are going for the titles on Rampage.
Yeah, I had the same reaction as Taz and Excalibur. Like, don't quit your day job. It was the most awkward rap I've ever heard in my life. I don't know if I know it was Sanjay making fun of the Acclaim, but man, was it bad. It was very, very bad.
So you don't remember that rap spot back in the 80s where a televangelist and his wife did a rap about not doing drugs and Jesus Christ and all this kind of stuff? That's definitely the most awkward rap I've ever heard in my life.
No, I'm pretty sure I would have enjoyed that rap. And plus I think I've seen the YouTube video of that rap now that you're bringing it up.
It's pretty
Um
hilarious,
it
but
is
it's
hilarious.
very awkward.
It I think it was better than this rap. By far.
Wow.
It was better than this rap. 100% better. Like this rap was just awkward. It was
Nope.
awkward and it almost seemed like I don't know if it was coming over on your feed, but like it's as if he was dubbing himself, like he was over like singing
Mhm.
over like the video, and it wasn't aligning properly, and it was throwing me off the entire time, right? So the entire thing was just like awkward,
Mhm.
and even when it started, it started like midway through the song, like it didn't like kick off with the acclaim beats or anything like that. It just started, and I was like, oh, this is weird. Like I
Right.
don't know what the heck was going on, but anyways, yeah,
Well,
it sucked. It
I'm
sucked.
going to point out that I'm the last person who should be judging rap music. So anyway, yeah, no, it was fine. I'm okay. They're gonna have a match. That's fine.
Yeah,
Whatever.
whatever.
Don't really care. I care more about the battle royal, the trios holiday
Three
battle
hundred thousand
royale,
dollar
because
battle
that
royale.
sounds like a cluster mess, man. Speaking of cluster
Oh
messes,
God. Oh my God.
Tony's in the ring with Rick Ross, and they're gonna have the segment of mediation between Strickland and Lee. You know, Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland. So Keith Lee comes out first to his music because even if you're gonna talk, you gotta come out to your theme. Ross says, "When the boss comes out, we come to make history. We got big business. Let's make this clear. Keith Lee, it's time to bring out the young legend. Make some noise for Swerve." Swerve doesn't come out. He then calls Lee a big MFer
Mm-hmm.
on television.
And Lee's reaction was like, that you
Mm,
should not have said that.
yep. But Swerve still doesn't come out. So Ross says, "Give the young legend some time. We are ready. We got history to make." So Swerve strolls out to no music and he says, "I wasn't aware we were doing this on Keith Lee's time again. Swerve ain't waiting for nobody. Swerve is going to start doing things Swerve's way. I tried with you, bro. We should own everything. Ross, ownership, boss." And he says, "But Ross, I can't deal with all the accusations that Keith Lee." Ross says, "We're not here to put up with accusations and not false accusations." Swerve says, "Lee, you can't keep your eye on the ball. You can't keep your eye on the tag team championships. And you can't keep your eye on your health." Ross, whoa. Swerve, "And honestly, you need to keep your eyes in the back of your head from now on." Ross says, "The young legend, Swerve." And then Parker Boudreaux hits Lee from behind wearing a Mogul affiliate sweater like Swerve. Lee fights him off. Ross goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Swerve is an icon. Swerve is a legend." Lee walks towards Swerve and gets blindsided by some big tattooed guy. Now, I tried to find out who this guy is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anyone who did have an idea who this guy was. Even Sean Rossap was like, yeah, don't know. So anyway, I'm sure we will all find out soon. Anyway, Ross says business is going down tonight. You should be amazed. The Mogul affiliates, they set the Mogul affiliates. So they set up some steps. Ross says it's time to make history. We make music. Swerve goes off the top, shattering a cinder block on Keith Lee to a very light "holy shit" chant. And Ross says it is official.
Yeah. I like the stomp by Swerve, but this entire segment was absolute garbage. Oh my God. Like I haven't, I made fun of the acclaimed and their celebrations and going on too long and stuff like that and certain things. Wow. If you want the worst spot, I know I'm looking at our list, Bill. Do we have a worst spot of the year? This was the friggin' worst spot I have never seen. Like this versus Sanjay Dutt's rapping, I would rather watch his rapping because this was so out of place. I hated this. I hated it because first of all, Rick Ross was terrible. I don't even know why he's there. Secondly, he was just repeating everything that's Swerve saying. Swerve comes out without his music. So let me get straight, guys. Who like when someone comes to the rescue, the truck plays the people's music. So you didn't see Swerve casually strolling out, so you wouldn't play his music for him. This entire segment was an absolute train wreck from the beginning. The minute Tony handed off that mic, this thing was got it was off the rails at that point. Yeah, I didn't like it. I have no clue the Mogul affiliates, I guess is what they're called now. I'm all about Swerve having like a different group of people because he's gonna go up against Keith Lee, which is gonna be great matches. But Parker Boudreaux and this other tattoo guy that no one has a clue who these people are, I was like, I was expecting bigger because first of all, Parker Boudreaux attacks Keith Lee. Keith Lee just beats him up,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And I'm like, okay,
It's as
that
he should. It's Keith
yes,
Lee versus Parker Boudreaux.
yeah, it's so dumb. Like I hated this promo. I hate. I was so mad that Swerve was part of this, and even you know what, in even Keith, right? I was so mad they were part of this because this was the worst promo I've seen in the and I've seen Thunder Rosa promos, people. This was the worst thing I've ever seen
We have to listen to
this
Tony
year.
Storm many weeks
We've
straight.
listened to Tony
Yeah.
Storm. We've listened to like mid like people talk and talk and talk. And again, as I pointed out, we've seen the acclaimed celebrations
Yes.
extended. This was just terrible. This was absolutely terrible. I could not believe what I was watching. Like, and
Yeah.
it's like a car crash. You can't turn away, right? You're like, oh my god, what's happening right now?
Yeah. Yeah. It was terrible.
Oh god.
It is definitely going into my pile for consideration
Oof.
for, worst segment of the
Oh my
year.
god, it was bad.
Yeah. Bad, 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 bad. Rick Ross is terrible.
Yes.
Just terrible. Like that's why I put all those little things. He just kept saying random
Yeah.
words in the background, repeating something through. Legend, thing, blah. It's like, what are you doing? Like, is there just something I'm not getting here? Like, is he a hype man? Is this how they're supposed to do their? I have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
I don't
I was
know.
just like, this to me, it sounded stupid,
Yep.
stupid. So I'm listening to him do that crap. I'm listening to Swerve go on about some stuff, and even Swerve was making like very little sense to me. I'm
Yeah.
like, did you
Yeah.
guys all have a big party in the back before you came out to
They're
do
all
this segment
drunk.
tonight? Because I'm like, you're either drunk or you're stoned or something's going on here. I'm like, it was bad. I mean, I've
Yeah.
heard Swerve be amazing on the
Yeah.
mic. I've heard Keith Lee be pretty good on the mic. This was terrible.
Yeah, but
Like you
Keith Lee
said,
didn't even have a
train wreck.
chance. Yeah, Keith Lee didn't even have a chance on the
And
mic, right?
Parker
Yes.
Boudreaux, and then random tattoo dude,
Oh
and then
man.
they have cinder block of shattering. Like the cinder block, I mean, light holy shit chance,
Yeah.
but guys, cinder blocks don't shatter like
Yeah,
that. If you
exactly.
stomp a cinder block, it ain't breaking. Okay, especially if it's on top of a fairly soft person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not breaking, guys. It's not. That is like it's against the laws of physics for that to happen. Okay. Tables breaking, sure, whatever. A cinder block shattering, okay, whatever. Mogul affiliates. Why did we need another faction?
I don't know. I
Why?
don't know.
Oh my God, how many factions does AEW? They're making New Japan look like it's got no factions at this point. Like pick 5 or 6 and stick with them. Stop
Yeah.
adding more factions. Oh my God, now we've got the Mogul affiliates, the Trust Busters, the Firm. I mean, like I can go on and on, right? Like how many factions does AEW need? The Elite, right? Death Triangle. Where the hell was the House of Black? Why didn't they come out
I
and trash all of these
I
people?
was going to mention that no House Black tonight.
Yeah, I know. Like, why? You've got Dynamite loaded with crud, except for a few like highlights,
Mhm.
and that's what I get anyway. We get promos for the Battle Royal. The best friends are buying Trent's mama house. Dark Order doesn't want Hangman involved because he'll wreck things.
I love when Hangman's like, wait. When is that? This Friday? Oh, I got I got to fight a flight to book.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. So anyway, that was good. Then we have Jamie Hayter taking on Hikaru Shida in the main event for the night. And it opens with crowd chants for Hayter. They both go at it with hard shots, like
Mhm.
hard chops, elbows. Shida gets the advantage with a knee strike and plants her with a body slam, suplexes her into the turnbuckle. Now you have dueling chants of let's go Shida, let's go Hayter. Shida drags her over the edge of the apron and lands a running knee strike from the floor onto her head, rolls her back in the ring, another running knee strike in the corner, but the second try is reversed by Hayter into snake eyes, so Hayter stomps her down, suplexes her into the turnbuckle. She tosses Shida outside the rings, rams her into the step, and then takes time to kiss the title. She
Hmm.
then rams, like, does a long run with Shida, rams her into the guardrail, does a bunch of lunges on the outside now, like exercising before ramming Shida into the rails again, like just not taking her seriously enough yet. She chills in a chair. She kicks Shida in the head and finally rolls Shida back in the ring. But Shida battles back with forearms. Hayter lands a suplex pin she does that I love for two. They then hit mutual clotheslines, and both of them are down in the ring. They climb to their feet, exchange forearms again, but Shida catches Hayter's arm and nails her with a series of forearms, a drop kick, hits her with turnbuckle punches, a second rope missile drop kick. She goes for a second rope deadlift suplex, but Hayter snapmares her onto the apron. That just looked vicious. She tries to run her into the ring post, but Shida reverses it and runs Hayter into the ring post, followed by a vertical suplex to the floor and from the apron, and both are down. They barely beat the count back in. Hayter lands forearms, but Shida hits an enziguri on her. Hayter nails the big boot. Shida counters with a high knee strike for two. Shida climbs to the top. There's a meteora off the top that just looked amazing, and then lands a falcon arrow for two. She sets her up on the turnbuckle, but Hayter headbutts her, but misses the follow-up moonsault. Shida then does a knee strike for a near fall. Shida then sets her up for the katana, but Hayter drops to the mat. But Hayter then picks her up into a reverse neck breaker and a sliding lariat, vicious, for two. She hits the backbreaker for two, sets her up for the Haterade, but Shida comes back with a high knee counter. Then we get Baker interfering in the match. Shida ends up taking her out because Baker comes in with the katana while the ref is distracted. Hayter then hits a power bomb on Shida for two, and the crowd is on their feet at this point. This actually robbed because they thought that was the end of the match, as did I. Then Hayter hits a lariat for a huge near fall, but then she finally hits the Haterade. It took that much to actually put Hikaru Shida away. Wow, what a match. My match of the night. What did you think?
I think and again, maybe this is memory not serving me right, but I think this is probably AEW's like the best women's match of the year for them. I can't recall another match being like this. I mean, I like the fact that Shida, it wasn't like Hayter was just overpowering Shida or anything like that. Like Shida was striking right back. Like they went back and forth. Like Hayter wasn't the big powerhouse in this match, right? She was actually equally matched because I was really impressed by that. I was like, holy shit, okay, this is actually a really hard hitting. And the moves, it didn't matter what Hayter did, like Shida had an answer for it, and it was back and forth and back. And I was like, would they actually take the belt? I'm like, no, there has to be something, obviously, with Britt and stuff like that. So the fact that they made it seem that Hayter couldn't beat Shida without the help. It's not that Britt thought that potentially she couldn't have beat her by herself, right? So they built it up to that. And then obviously like what Hayter had to do to take her down, the power, like she did the power bomb, she picked her up, power bombed her again. Then she did the clothesline that she does to take her out finally. All that stuff is just to beat her for the pinfall, right? That was great. I really love this match as well. And as I said, I think this is the best AEW women's match that I've seen this year. Right, that could be recency bias, but I can't remember anything like this, to be completely honest with you. Right, so
yeah, oh, this match was incredible.
The match is awesome. Yeah,
it just you said it, both of them hard hitting. There was nothing pulled back in this match. Nope. These women were nailing each other with these forearm shots and stuff. Right, this was the kind of wrestling I love. Just two people going at it. Right, like you said, they knew each other, counters for each other for days. They both countered each other's moves, hard hitting. That suplex onto the floor was crazy. These women gave it absolutely everything they had, and it showed. And then we had the Oedo Tai member win the match at the end, but in good Oedo Tai style, needed some cheating help to get it done. That was her faction in Stardom, by the way.
All right. So, okay. All right.
So yeah, she did spend a few years in Stardom. So yeah. Anyway, great match. My match of the night.
It was a good match.
I mean, you have to pull out all the stops to beat the Elite versus Death Triangle. And they did.
Yeah,
and for me, I mean, I enjoyed this match more than the Elite versus Death Triangle match. I was just like, holy crap, is this a good match? Right. Yeah. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Match of the night. Way to go, girls. What I didn't enjoy was what happened after the match. I know. Britt beats down Shida after the match, and then the worst music in wrestling hits, so Britt has to pause and plug her ears. So Hayter then clocks Tony Storm with the belt to shut her music up. But then Soraya's music hits, and as always, she gets the best of Britt because apparently Britt can never get the best of Soraya. And then we end a match between the women's champion Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida, where these two women gave everything they had and were both lying in the ring. And we end it with Saraya standing in the ring with the and Tony Storm.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
didn't they let the bloody match breathe? You know what I would have liked to see? Some kind of respect spot between Hayter and Shida. That would have built a story a lot better. Britt kind of giving it like the why are you respecting this person look, right? Think about how that would have built a better story here. Or anything, or like, a bit of a respect thing, and then she thinks better of it and decks her again, or
Yeah.
something. Anything except this. I don't care about Tony Storm. I don't care about Soraya. I
Yeah.
did care about Shida versus him. I
Yeah.
hated this ending.
Yeah. The ending sucked. I agree. The ending sucked. I didn't like the stupid saves and stuff like that. And like Surya running out and then yelling out, "This is my house." I'm like, just shut up. Like at this point, just like who cares? But yeah, didn't like the ending. But I mean, the match itself was amazing, so I didn't really care
Yeah.
about the ending. I ignored
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I mean, like let's face it. It wasn't her house. It was Shida and Hayter's house tonight. So
Yeah.
nice try. Anyway, so that was AEW Dynamite for the night. Holiday Bash. Anything in it reach the Omega level for you?
Uh, I mean, anything reach Omega level status? I mean, I feel like if I said that the women's match was the best match of the like I've seen at AEW this year, I should say, then maybe that deserves an Omega level rating because it was just that good. Um, but yeah, I think that would be it. I just think just based on that fact that hey, AEW doesn't have the greatest matches that they have for the women, but in this match deserved to be the last match on the card, right? Remember I said, what if they put the lead on first and then the championship match at the ending, right? And they did. So yeah, no, I would say I'll give the women the Omega level status this week.
Yep, I would agree with you completely. They completely got the Omega level for
Yeah.
me. This wasn't just one of the best women's matches of the year in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best matches in
Yeah.
AEW this year. I
Yeah.
mean, this was a really good wrestling match. The other thing I will give the Omega level is Kenny Omega pulling out the barbed wire broom and then sweeping the ring with
So
it during
he's
the match.
such a clown.
He is Kenny Omega, so he
He
clearly
is.
gets the Omega level
Oh,
for the
he's
broom.
so awesome. He's so
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. John Moxley's promo was pretty damn
Oh, it was
close
good.
too. Yeah.
That was a cool promo he cut, but it's Jon Moxley, so I'm not
Right.
surprised.
So, got any final thought of the evening for us?
Yeah. The my final thought is that the Swerve promo was WWE level today. So
Ooh.
that's how much I hated it. I hated that promo. And for me to say that about something Swerve did, yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to hate that.
You're in pain, dude. You're in
I'm in
pain. I
pain.
can feel it. I can
It
feel it.
really bothered me that promo.
Yep. Yep. I know there's a lot of these kind of things going on right now. That Swerve
Mm-hmm.
thing, all the stuff involving MJF, it makes me a little worried sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
shenanigans and a lot of talking going on in
You got to
AEW right
remember
now.
that Tony Khan was a huge WCW fan.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I
there's a
do
lot
see a
of
lot of
talking.
WCW in here.
Hmm. We always have stardom. That's my thought of the night. We'll always have stardom.
We have the elites. That's all we have. And
And I
there
would
we
just
go.
like to point out we have the Elite who wrestled in Japan.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
We have Death Triangle, also capable of wrestling in Japan. And the main event tonight was Oedo Time member Jamie Hayter taking on Hikaru Shida.
Both wrestled in Japan.
Yes, exactly. So I would just like to say, there you go. Tony, pay more attention to what's going on in Japan, not what's
Exactly.
going on in Connecticut. Thanks.
I know.
Anyway, so on that note, though, it is time for us to go. And as the great one always says, goodbye, everyone, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.